My microphone's live. Your microphones are live. People can hear you. What is this? So just gonna make sure OBS is playing ball before getting started with the spiel. But it seems to be doing fine. I'm just waiting for the Twitch stream to catch up. Yep, there we go. That's the best tech I can run right now. So welcome everyone to session 3 of A Ball to Die For, a Realms of Pugmire actual play. I cannot overstate the fact that the rules we are using are playtest rules, the rules that you gain access to if you back the current Kickstarter. The link I'm dropping in chat right now. Hopefully, maybe, if my computer plays ball. There we go. Backing that will get you access to chunks of the current manuscript as they are released. The rules in the current manuscript are also playtest rules, but they are an advanced version of what we're using. We're using essentially a D&D 5e rule set from the SRD, but due to the OGL, Eddie Webb decided to move the Realms of Pugmire completely to the Onyx 20 system. So that is what the back of preview manuscript will give you access to. But the campaign is doing well, and hopefully you are all doing well. My name's Ryan. I'm the guide for the game. All of our social media handles are below our faces, so you'll probably not be surprised to learn that I'm Comrade Bubbles pretty much everywhere. I'm a mod in chat, so please do behave. And as is habitual, let's just go in alphabetical order of given name, as far as I'm aware anyway. So Lee, please introduce yourself and your character.
Well, that's the name I gave you, at least.
I know what your name is.
I am Lee. I am playing Momo, everyone's favorite, extremely confusing miniature shepherd. I am the social character of the game, we'll say, the charmer, the overwhelmer. I am my promotions currently are that I was once upon a time playtester for the original Chronicles of Darkness rule set, and I also wrote the introductory fiction by Banner Bound, available on the Storyteller Vault for Changeling the 20th edition. And I also would like to promote my friends and people here with me, all around me, Comrade Bubbles and Rosie and Tom. They're all great people. A+.
Thank you. The alphabet has escaped me. Rosie, would you like to introduce yourself while I try to fix my computer?
Hi, I am Rosie, regular size mom. You can find me on Twitter at mom_size or on Etsy and all of the social medias as Odd Duck Dice. Dice make me happy, so I make dice. Click clack goblins. And today I am playing Cecil, who is our ratter, sort of sneaky thief dog. Was an Afghan, which means that she has very long flowing hair, and she's working and trying to figure out what we really need to do next to find this missing artifact.
And that leaves Tom, who was absent last week. Welcome back.
Oh, hello, thank you. Yeah, my name's Tom. You can find me at Bolthra, Bolthra. I run a gaming channel called Restless Barbarian Gaming. You can find it on YouTube, Twitch. I write children's books. I write stories about monsters. I run superhero games, lots of stuff. So really looking forward to playing Sigmund again. He is kind of the pack dad. He's an old Pyrenees who's retired from working as a royal guard, and this might be his last hurrah before he just settles down and lays in front of the fire all day. So
the dream, just the dream. Before we get into the recap, I do want to apologize and let people know a couple of things. One, if there's stuttering on the stream, try refreshing the stream. It might help, but most likely it is my computer. It is starting to show its age, and it does not like capturing Zoom window 4 times. Let's put it that way. Two, I am Not 100% well. So there may be a lot of filler speech, etc. But I'll try and get through that as best I can and focus as best as I can. And that's that. And the last thing to note before that we go into the recap is that for people who are unaware, and as a reminder for my players, you have a resource called Fortune, which you can spend in a number of ways. The most immediate one is you can spend 1 fortune from the pool, and it's a shared pool, but you can spend 1 fortune with everyone else's permission to reroll a single one of your dice in any roll that you make, including damage dice. I have no way to share that, to track that for you, so right, we've got 3 in the pool right now. That is added to when you do stuff that is disadvantageous to you, when you botch, rolling a 1, and when I decide to give you fortune, essentially. Should it become relevant, you can spend 1 fortune to interrupt the initiative order if you have not yet had your turn in initiative. You can say, no, this character isn't acting, I'm acting now. I could do the same. I can add fortune to the roll, to, in this case, D6, to say that this NPC is acting now. And the advantage of that, obviously, you get to act, but you also pick who acts after you in the initiative. So I could interrupt it and take it for the NPCs. I'm now going to keep talking until Lee gets back, because Momo was going to do the recap for us. Yeah. Also, it might be a thing because I'm not very well. I did attend a funeral on the weekend just gone, which is why we had to skip a week. And the deceased parents were happy for his friends to kind of inherit his gaming stuff. So I'm using a set of his dice tonight as a memory of a lost friend. So hopefully, they'll roll better for me than they did for him. Because, that's how dice work, right? They totally roll differently for different people. Are you ready to provide a recap through the eyes of Momo, Lee?
Yes, of course.
Please hit us with this work of dramatic genius.
Last week, Sigmund fell asleep, and that was okay because he's old and he needs to rest. And one day he should rest and lay down by the fire and just have himself a nice, calm, relaxing time. That's not what we do here, though, because we are adventurers and we're right on track to solve this mystery. Because there was a crash, there was an earthquake, a sinkhole. That's the thing. There's a sinkhole, and it caused a lot of trouble. And we were following the trail of this hare that we found. It was a hare. It was white hair. It was long hair, but it was from a short dog like me. But it wasn't me because I wasn't there. I was somewhere else. But we were following this trail, and I am Momo, the world's greatest trash collector, and I discovered that there was a flyer for a place, and we went there because they had live music, and we were going to go there, and we met these really, really hunky Great Danes, and we asked them for directions, and they showed us where to go. But then we came to the end of the road, and we had to let go. And it wasn't natural, but we did part ways, and we got to the pot place. There was big smelting pot. That's what it was. It was a smelting pot. We were over there, and it was huge. It was like you could fit like 15 meats. Can you imagine if there were 15 meats? Oh my gosh, we can't. That's like way too many, even for me. So, but we didn't go. We didn't have 15 meats. We just had 1 meat. We only have 1 meat. I'm the greatest me. But Cecil was there, and she's great. I love Cecil. Fantastic. Wonderful. And it turns out that there were all the people that had been at the smelting pot went to go find out what happened at the sinkhole. That's a big hole, big hole, like biggest hole in the world. Anyway, we went there, and Cecil was like, let's figure out what happened with this sinkhole. And Cecil went to go find out, but I stayed behind, and I helped. And I used some of my plastic monies. I used my plastic monies to buy food and drinks and a place for everyone to rest for the night, and baths. Oh, it was bath time. And then there was little kids, and we did brush, kissy, which is really, really great because it's when you go brush, 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 and they go kiss, kiss, kissing. She's not into it right now, but that's okay. Anyway, so what happened is Cecil went and investigated and found that somebody took tunnel. Somebody took tunnel. It was great. Like a dachshund, but not. But because dachshunds are great, but they go after badgers, and they're fierce, fierce, fierce fighters. Anyway, we came back and we decided to rest, and I think that's everything. Did I get everything? I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You went and grabbed Sigmund. So Sigmund was also at the smelting pot.
Yes, we did.
But
We
you,
did.
yeah, that's pretty comprehensive recap. So thank you, Momo, for
Yeah.
services rendered. Imagine how tall 15 Momos stacked on top of each other would be. The next day dawns, the day of the ball itself. Whether that's the titular ball of the actual play or not, maybe we'll find out by the end of it. But the next day dawns, and the weather is dry. Sky is blue. There are a couple of shreds of white puffy cloud drifting through the sky, and the Moira, the Alsatian landlady, and apparently the only member of staff in the smelting pot, throws the windows open, and you can smell the sense of a city stirring and waking and coming to life. You can smell fresh bread. You can smell a variety of like hot beverages being brewed, and she herself, as you have spent the night on the spoil, this inherently unstable heap of stones that a community has built itself upon, does have this huge, this like communal atmosphere going, because she takes one of the tables from the doors, takes one of the tables nearest the doors, and doesn't push it outside because she doesn't want to block the narrow track that serves as a road or a path, depending on how generous you're being. But has pushed it so it's kind of half out of the doors and half in the smelting pot, and she's put some pastries and some pitchers of cold water and some pitchers, not pitchers, like iron teapots, kettles, that kind of thing, just to hold a hot beverage in it for anyone who needs it in the morning. And you do see a couple of like bone-tired guards of the city guard stopping by for a drink, having a quiet conversation with her, and just kind of relaxing, presumably after a shift, making sure that no one starts poking around the sinkhole on Spoil Row and gets into mischief. Around you in the smelting pot itself, the families that did spend the night there, there aren't many. Most found space elsewhere, but there's like 3 families that have remained in the booths behind the privacy sheets. Let's say one of them is stirring. The other 2 are still sound asleep from the sounds of the gentle snuffling or snoring, as appropriate. But there's definitely sounds of movement from behind one of the other blankets, and you can hear It sounds like maybe a parent trying to coax a small pup out of from their sleep and to get started with the day. But the day is yours. You have all rested. You are all as relaxed as you're going to be. You have a couple of avenues of inquiry open to you. What would you like to do?
First of all, I'm going to catch Sigmund up on everything we've been doing. So I make sure he knows what we did. He knows. Yeah, it's great.
He probably has a giant mug of tea or something and is just kind of sipping it quietly while Momo just, and he's like, then what happened next? Mm-hmm.
It washed over you.
Be one with the Momo.
One with the Momo. He's like, thank you, Momo.
Anytime. Yes. I'm here for you. He's my friend.
So we should be on our way then, to our business. You did.
Did you have a good nap?
I did.
Good.
Yeah, for your the nap that you had at the Transylvanian Hounds estate was perfectly pleasant, Sigmund. When you woke up, someone had draped a blanket over you. They had provided a rare.
Not dead yet.
Yeah. They provided you with a hot drink until I think Cecil went back for Sigmund while Momo dealt with children and stuff. Yeah, so they gave you a drink. They gave you a refreshment while before Cecil turned up and got you.
Yeah, he's really ready to just follow. He's heard about a tunnel or a hole or something that like my head might fit in, but that's about it.
And thinking about what we might want to do next, and Cecil sits down at the table saying that she's pulled herself out of the snuggle dog pile that she was sleeping in and has procured a mug of some kind of breakfast ale, and something oatmeal-y, I guess, and sits down and says, I was thinking about the missing people that the mayor has mentioned, and I was wondering if they had anything to do with this secret tunnel. And all we know is that they're missing citizens. We don't know from what part of the city or anything like that. Do you think that's something that we should investigate, or should we focus on what do we do next?
The missing people, I mean, I hate to be overly suspicious, but the fact that they're gone, I mean, is there no trace of where they've gone? Their families can't speak for them?
We haven't looked into it yet because, well, yeah, the mayor had wanted someone to look into it, but we're here for discretion.
Right. Asking too many questions can lead to.
Okay, I guess I answered my own question. We focus on the discretion.
Yes.
But what if it's all connected? What if the tunnels that somebody, some monster dug, what if it's connected? What if also, because the artifact is missing and also the people are missing, there's a lot of missing things here, and there's a tunnel, there's now even missing houses. This is just too big to like not connect.
Yeah, there could be something living down in those tunnels that's causing the instability.
I don't know if anyone is living in them, but they were certainly dug under the spoil purposefully. They weren't naturally occurring.
Right.
What if they connect to where somebody is living?
Yeah.
I mean, they were connected to where someone is living now. We need to go to the other side.
So this is okay. So just kind of add a character. So this is the morning, and the ball is this evening. So we've pretty much got, like, say, this morning to figure it out.
I'll be honest. I may have lost track of it. May have lost track of time a little bit with everything that's happened. It's either, I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you, folks. I'll throw it open to you. It's either this evening or tomorrow evening. I think it should be tomorrow evening. Actually, thinking about it.
Okay.
So we'll go with that, just so you don't feel too pressured for time as well.
That's fine.
Okay. You're the GM. You can always, as far as I'm concerned, move time however you like.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Ignore everything I said. You've got a day and a bit.
You're a Time Lord.
Yeah, I am a Time Lord. I've given you an extra day. I'm merciful.
Do not waste it. No.
No, I know I'm aware of a propensity to put a time pressure on players when I don't mean to. So
it's fine. He's Sigmund is very schedule focused, very this must be done by this time. So he doesn't waste any time. He's, let's just begin our work. So and he's ready to go. He's got his shield and his warhammer, and leaves his riding cloak behind because he's not going to be riding anywhere. So he's turns to his fellow pioneers and let us go.
Should we talk to the mayor though? Or are we gonna go to the tunnel? The mayor, the tunnel, mayor, tunnel, mayor. Where are we going?
Discretion.
Let's
means-
focus on the discretion, though I don't know how we're going to discreetly look at the tunnel at this time. And she looks up at Sigmund.
Yes, so, quick interjection. I did just check the rules. You are at disadvantage for dexterity checks in medium armor.
Mhm.
So stealthing is going to be difficult.
Yes.
Not impossible, but
Right.
difficult.
He's he's like, I'd rather not just sit here by the fire all day.
Yeah, and what I found last night, I guess I could have followed it on my own, but if something happened, no one would have known.
You chose wisely.
Thanks. But we need to figure something out.
I will do my best to move quietly. Hopefully my joints and knees will not crack too much.
I'm more figuring out how you're going to move in the tunnels.
Yes. I'm not fond of tunnels.
It was one of those situations where it's going to be just big enough for Sigmund, but he's going to have to be really careful.
I will endeavor to move through these tunnels.
Okay.
I don't think he could use traverse for that, right? That's more going over things and
Yeah,
under things.
traverse is more climbing and
Yeah, that's what I thought.
swimming
So.
and stuff.
Okay. Alrighty.
I will check my cheat sheet so I don't give you. The
I wouldn't think
information.
it would apply.
Where do my Q
Well,
skills go?
Before we get ahead of ourselves, really, we should probably see if we can get to where I entered the tunnel last night, because it's during the day. There might just be too many people, but it's a good place to start. And we do have our secret weapon of Momo. And
I think we just unleash the Momo.
Momo fusion.
And at worst, she keeps them busy while we move. Then she can always go, oh, I forgot, I need to be over here now, and can disengage. Do we unleash the Momo?
Let's see what the situation is before we do that to this city. What do you think, Momo?
What say you, Momo?
I am always ready to serve as I am needed. Discretion.
So, thinking about it, it would be a traverse check, but it'll be a dexterity based check. So,
Sure. Okay.
So your plan is to go and scope out what Spoiler Row is like in the daytime before making any further decisions.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Solid plan. Temperature outside is pleasantly cool. The guards who have clearly come off like the all-night shift guarding Spoiler Row essentially don't even really give you a second glance as you walk past them. They're bone tired, as I said, they're exhausted. They just want to get off shift and go to sleep. Cecil, I'm not even going to make you roll to remember the way. It's not the kind of area where you can really get lost. There aren't all that many paths because they just found the most stable routes across the loose rock and put a hard pack down to kind of to try and wedge and glue the stones in place as best they could. So you get to kind of the shoulder of the road where the Spoiler Row itself starts, and you know that certainly last night there was a guard patrol beyond this kind of outcropping of loose rock. So if you do want to if anyone wants to go around it without potentially attracting attention, that would be a dexterity sneak roll.
Okay. Yeah, I want to try that. So I'm at a -1 on my dex.
And you have to roll twice to pick the lower because of your armor, unfortunately.
Okay. Ooh, a 3.
There are 3 fortune in the pool if you would like to re-roll.
Yeah. Yes. We'll use that
so
one.
you take one of the dice you just rolled and roll it again.
Okay. 14.
Is anyone else going with Sigmund?
Nah, because if he gets waylaid, then
No, that's fair.
That's true. That's not a bad idea.
Well, I rolled a 1 for the guard patrol, so memorial dice. Why? So is Momo going? By the way, I meant to ask. Yeah, you're muted, Lee.
Momo is muted. Sorry. No, Momo is going to wait behind in case she is needed to come bravely rescue Sigmund, because she is a brave rescuer who comes to people's aids when she's needed.
Okay.
So I will wait behind.
So, Sigmund, it's difficult, like, it's early, while pleasantly cool, it is still kind of chilly, your joints may not be as limber as they once were, and you kind of, you get to the edge of the, where this road, which, again, air quotes, road, it's basically a double width path of hardpack holding loose rock together. You get to the corner of it where some of the larger pieces on the slope above kind of jut out and provide a natural barrier. And for a moment, you put your foot wrong, and for a moment you think you're going to go over the edge as a loose rock kind of skitters away. But it's not a terribly loud noise, and you just freeze for a moment as you wait to see if there's anyone paying attention, if there's any reaction to this. There's a hushed, must have been the wind. And then you can hear footsteps moving away, and you kind of peek around the corner, and you can see a series of houses, the middle 3 of which appear to have collapsed inwards into a giant sinkhole. Some debris is scattered across the road, so the road itself is only about half width in the middle of the sinkhole, and then the middle house has just collapsed in its entirety. You can see bits of it sticking up out of the rock, and you can see kind of like a top floor with a doorway or a big window or something. Not top floor, sorry. You can see the bottom floor, the doorway is kind of half full, where it's just sunk backwards and into this sinkhole. The houses on either side of it are not livable. They're definitely dangerous, but they are mostly intact, but they're kind of like 45-degree angles, and they've just fallen inwards, and the only thing holding them up is the house in the middle. The whole thing is very precariously perched. It does not look safe at all to your experienced eyes, and as a pioneer as a royal pioneer. The guard patrol does appear to have only kind of just turned around and is making its way away from from your vantage point. So if you were gonna go, you're gonna have to go shortly, otherwise they're gonna turn around and come back. The only thing working in your favor is because the road is mostly blocked by debris. They're going to slow down as they kind of have to single file past the middle house.
I don't know if I'm going to assume the team established a whistle or something. a kind of a sign like
you've worked together before. You've probably got some basic
come. He's basically like he's like summoning them like come.
Okay. I'm going to let Sigmund's stealth sneak check stand until you get to the house. Okay. But as Momo and Cecil are now, I presume, sneaking. If you are sneaking, I'd like a sneak check. If you're not sneaking, I'd like to know what you're doing instead.
I do not have the sneak skill, but I am definitely attempting to be stealthy.
Okay.
So,
that's a dexterity check. So if you're, I assume you're in light armor as a ratter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just roll 1d20, add your dexterity modifier.
Dirty 20.
Okay. Yeah. No, you like a breeze, just around and into the cover provided by that dangerously precarious central house.
I have sneak, but I don't know what it does.
So if you have the skill at this level, you can add 1 to the roll. 1 to the roll, 2 to the roll. Hang on, I'll check. Perfect, 2 to the roll, sorry. On top of any other modifiers like your dexterity bonus.
That brings me up to 8 total.
8 total. Same question. You have 2 points in the fortune pool. You can spend 1 of them with your fellow player's permission to reroll 1 of the... Okay. So. Sigmund's gone. Cecil's gone. That's Momo's moment. You get to the central house and trip. Now, Sigmund, as you get to the central house, well, I guess, question for Cecil first. Cecil, the previous night, when you discovered the hole behind the table, I assume you left the table in place. And it's like this awkward canted angle against the wall that hides the entrance to the tunnels from view.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So Sigmund, you get to the house and you see the table that Cecil mentioned is over the hole. And you're kind of the closest to it, and kind of just looking at it, it'll be a tight squeeze, but you'll be able to get in as long as you'll be able to get in with little difficulty as long as there's no rush to get in.
He probably can't take a shield, I would imagine.
You're going to have to put it in first or pull it in after. You can't.
Okay.
You can't have it.
Yeah.
Holding where you're going.
Yeah. What I figured is he's probably going to go last, so he doesn't block up the tunnel from somebody else. So just in case.
No, that's totally fair. So it's a bit of an issue when Momo gets to the doorway and trips, and it's not the trip isn't the issue. The issue is the fact that it's the momentum. The issue is the fact that as she trips, she throws out a steadying hand and catches the door frame, which shifts ever so slightly. But it's enough to send a cloud of dust from the broken floor above falling down. I could do with, from everyone, I guess it'd be a Constitution saving throw. If you have the little black dot filled in next to Constitution in your saving throw section, you have advantage on this. So D20 twice, pick the higher result.
11.
13.
Eight.
Okay, right. Well, Sigmund and Cecil, the dust falling down from the floor above, it tickles your snout, but you hold it in. Momo, how loud is the sneeze that erupts from your snout? It carries on the still morning air. You have moments at most before the patrol turns around. You do hear, sounds of alarm and alertness from the other side of the rocks nearby.
Can I reach back and just snatch Cecil and drag? Not, I am Cecil. Can I reach back and snag Momo?
If Momo allows you, yeah.
I am pocket sized, so yes, I will allow it.
Hurry now. And he's gonna just basically just start moving both of them towards the tunnel.
Okay.
Go now.
I should specify I am Sigmund's pocket sized, so yes.
Cecil is essentially just, more like scoop, snag, grab, go.
Yep. So Momo gets in the hole easily enough because she's tiny. It's tiny hole, tiny dog. Cecil, it's a bit of a squeeze, but you've done it before. You know exactly what you're doing. I'm assuming that you've told Sigmund how you can get into the tunnel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grand. So, Sigmund, you know that the tunnel beneath you is about 4 feet tall, and the hole that you're staring down is not purpose-built as an entrance. It just happens to function as one. I'm going to need that dexterity traverse check to get in
Okay.
easily.
All right. So let's see. He's a -1 to his dex.
And
Oh, a 6.
disadvantage because of the armor as well, unfortunately.
Okay. So disadvantage, I roll it twice, or
Yeah, you roll it twice, you pick the lower result.
okay, good. Okay. All right. Ooh, a 2.
Okay, even worse. Are you proficient in traverse? Just out of curiosity.
Yes. Yeah.
So that does add 2 to the roll.
Oh, okay.
So
what does traverse add then? Is that something with con or something? I think it says.
well,
Constitution.
that's the skill that the ability it's usually tied to. So most
Okay.
often you'll be making a Constitution traverse check, but because this is more, you're trying to be more acrobatic than just
I got it.
physical strength and
Okay.
endurance. I've changed the ability.
Okay.
So yeah, it's the D20 -1 for your dexterity, but +2 for the traverse proficiency.
Okay. All right. So I should just roll it again then.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. All right.
Now
So
we know what we're doing.
6.
Okay, so it's not clean. And do you go in feet first, or head first?
Head first.
Okay.
And what he's taking is his warhammer and his shield and putting them in first, and then he's going to basically just like shove that ahead of him. And he is just Winnie the Pooh is just going to try to squeeze in there as best he can and
Okay, so
follow.
I've just noticed the thing in the Zoom chat. I'm perfectly happy to say that if you wanted to, there's a mechanic in Pugmire where you don't have to do shopping sessions. You can go on the adventure and you can decide during the adventure, I would probably have bought this, and you can roll for it to see if you did remember to do that. So,
Okay.
as
Wait,
Cecil,
you're okay with me rolling to see if I thought to grab bacon grease?
Yes, this is a wisdom saving throw. The default difficulty is 15.
Okay.
And I see no reason to change that. So if you do want to roll to see if you thought to pick up bacon grease for Sigmund,
So who's rolling, me or Rosie?
that'd be Cecil.
Okay. Makes sense because I've been through here before.
You knew what you were dealing with.
Yeah. And I have a +2 to wisdom. So we'll see.
And do you have the black dot filled in?
I do not, but I don't think it matters because I rolled a 20.
Okay, yeah.
I'm keeping that dice right there.
Don't sell them. So
Was it a natural or a...
It was a natural 20.
Okay, so not only did you remember to pack grease, it's not even bacon grease. It is scentless like tallow, or as scentless as you can get. So you're pretty sure there's not even going to be, apart from the smears on the rock, there's probably not going to be any of the trail for anyone to follow. So if you'd like to make that roll again, Tom.
Okay. All right. 18.
Okay, there we go. There's a moment where you're stuck. You know, without a shadow of a doubt, that guard patrol is going to round the corner and see your hind paws sticking up out of a hole behind a table in a ruined house. And that, like, there's the moment of, has your entire life led
to this?
Is this how you go out? A royal pioneer of pedigree. And that gives you, like, there's just a moment of caught hitched breath, and that on that in draw, and that fraction of a moment where you hold your breath is enough to for the grease to keep you sliding slowly out of sight. It's not graceful.
Sucks it in as best he can.
You're probably glad that no one saw that, apart from Momo and Cecil. But, well, did anyone think to bring a light source? Because you don't have dark vision.
I still have my hooded lantern.
Okay, that's fine. So assuming that's lit, the only people that saw that were Momo and Cecil. But you get in, and like a couple of heartbeats after Sigmund drops gracelessly to the floor of the tunnel, you do hear movement. OBS, please behave. You do hear movement from like outside of the house. Guards clearly on high alert, looking around for something.
Just staying motionless. Because he doesn't want to shift any rocks around while he's moving. So he's just going to
Of course.
just stay. Yep.
After about 30 seconds, the movement, there is a whispered conversation, and you hear the sounds of paw steps moving away.
He'll still wait.
A good minute passes before you hear the regimented tread of a patrol.
Getting louder or going
Just on
away?
They've resumed their back
Okay.
and forth route to make sure that both ends of the row are, blocked off
Yeah.
as best they can.
He's probably still going to wait another 30 seconds, as much as he wants to get out of here so badly. He just
Okay,
doesn't trust. He's just waiting a little more.
that's fair.
Okay.
You hear them go again, and they do appear to just resume their standard pattern. They're not actively searching. Well, obviously they're actively keeping an eye out, but they're not searching for anything. In the light of Cecil's hooded lantern, both Momo and Sigmund can see this cramped, about 4-foot high tunnel of extremely precariously perched rock fragments on all sides, and you can see about 25, 30 feet away, towards the center of the spoil. A partial collapse has resulted in most of the tunnel being blocked. There is enough room that you could squeeze past, especially with the bacon grease or the tallow. To your left, to the edge of the spoil, the tunnel has collapsed entirely. And actually, Sigmund and Momo's. No, I'll let Momo roll as well. I can't remember what I got. I think it was just a notice check to kind of place the odd musty scent you can smell. So if you do both want to make a wisdom notice check, Cecil, unfortunately, you've already had your try at this.
19.
Okay.
21.
Okay, both of you. There's this dry, musky scent in the air, and it takes a moment during that period where you're just waiting for the patrol to resume its patrol. Really, your thoughts are engaged elsewhere, but that scent is familiar, and you've both smelled this before when you had to deal with rodents. Perhaps for information gathering or just buying equipment from them. This is definitely a rodent smell. Not squeakers, not rats and mice of the unuplifted variety. This is definitely the intensity of a fully uplifted rodent.
Hmm.
Is there any way to get a bead on what kind of rodent it would be?
Not really. It's mixed down here. There are other smells, just from the fact that you are living under a community that isn't it's just seeping down through gaps in the rock, and you can smell. All of you can smell that there's refuse somewhere nearby, and
So we might be coming to a nest or something.
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as he can move.
Yeah, as I say, the patrol resumes. I assume you continue down the tunnel.
Yeah, just keep going. I'll just keep nudging Cecil's feet. Okay. Or did she go feet first, or did she go head first?
Feet first.
Okay.
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 So marching order. I'm assuming Sigmund is probably at the
He's
back,
at the back.
of the line.
Yeah.
Momo at the front.
Momo at the front. Okay, that's fair, because I was thinking whoever is the most likely to be the two of us might be able to squeeze back behind Sigmund and his shield if we absolutely had to. But Sigmund.
He's kind of pushing it in front of him.
Yeah.
So if anything, he'd be able to shove it underneath you, and you'd be able to get it. So
that works. We have a plan.
Yep.
Momo goes first because you guys can look over her.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point.
Line of sight.
Yeah.
Line of sight is really important.
It is.
Yep.
Okay, so with Sigmund being greased, which is a line I never thought I'd have to say, certainly not live on Twitch.
We're going to make you say it as often as possible.
Gosh dang it. I guess also on YouTube, because this will be going up on YouTube as well. With Sigmund being greased, the second time, take a drink. I'm not going to make you roll to get past the partial collapse 20 feet away. It's easily enough, particularly with him having just had to breathe in to get through the hole. It's not pleasant or comfortable, and probably going to have some bruises. But it's done without any significant risk of failure, which, as we all know, is when you should roll the dice, or dramatic risk of failure, let's say. Could I trouble one of you just to roll a d4 for me, please? Okay, so the tunnel continues in much the same vein as it was when you entered it. It varies between 3 to 4 feet tall, 2 to 3 feet wide at its very widest. The walls, floor, and ceiling are all loose rock. The floor itself has had some kind of... You've seen this in a couple of... I was about to say mannish. That's not the right term of reverence. You've seen this in a couple of sites where man used to live. It's almost like petrified sand. Kind of this grey, pebbly texture to it. But that has been placed along the floor to give you this stable footway, and the wooden supports. Now that you're down here and have basically nothing else to look at for the duration of the tunnel, in essence, the wooden supports have got these teeny tiny carvings in, and you've seen this in some places that man used to live. Some members of the Church of Man would have you believe that it's a pictorial representation of like a proto-human. This is a very basic like circle over a semicircle that you're told is shoulders, and the circle on top is wearing this weird headgear. And this seems to have been placed almost as a like a blessing of some kind on the low-hanging beams.
The holy symbol.
Those who dwelled under the earth and moved the rock.
Memory. I hope they were good boys.
But you continue on, and in places where you can see the wood of the support has split, it's been reinforced with this grey pebbly material, whatever it is. I would say that as a hunter, Momo's a hunter, right, Lee? I think. Yeah, cool. As a hunter, you would know that the breaks are quite old. They've clearly been here a while. And speaking of Momo, as Momo is in the front, I would like a wisdom saving throw, please.
$21.
Okay, excellent. You notice the tripwire that's spread across the tunnel. It's about halfway up the tunnel. So if you were small enough, you could go under it without any fuss. But it stretches from one side of the tunnel to the next. It is not attached to wooden supports. It seems to be wrapped around 2 rocks on either side. And in fact, as you have noticed it and rolled so high noticing it, because Realms of Pugmire doesn't have a passive perception score or anything like that. It's a wisdom saving throw to notice things that would be passive in other games. With a score that high, you also notice where there are slight tool marks in the rocks around these 2 trigger rocks, as if they were held in place while this trap was set. Now, for Momo, it's not going to be an issue. Small enough to go under it. Cecil could feasibly. Cecil's good at avoiding traps and things. Sigmund is the issue here.
Yep.
Yeah. I've got my Ratter's tools.
Mhm.
I'm interpreting that to be like thief's tools.
Yes.
Could I
definitely.
disable the trap wire for Sigmund? Ideally in a way that I could... Well, she's looking at it and sort of weighing the options in her head of either trying to completely disable it so that if they need to make a hasty retreat back, they can do that without having to disengage it again, or reset it. But what does it look like she'd be able to do?
With in your opinion, there's no resetting it. Like, if you wanted to be able to use it, you're just gonna have to leave it as is. You can just cut the wire. It appears that the entire point of the trap appears to be tension on the wire pulls the walls down, or pulls the 2 trigger rocks out of place, and presumably causes a collapse.
Okay, then she will disable the trap.
Okay. This would be a dexterity steel check if you have steel as a proficiency.
Is steel a trick or
It's a skill.
steel? No. But I have dex, so like all of us, I have a dexterity stat.
Yes.
Whoa, that's a 7 total.
Okay. Sorry, I just realized that I don't actually have your, like, not quite character sheets, but I made note of all your tricks, so I should probably open that. That might be useful to know. Hang on. Is that just the Word document that's just at the top? Sure is. Never mind. Ignore me. A 7, you say. Before I narrate the success or failure of that option, would you like to petition your colleagues to spend one of your 2 remaining fortune points on a reroll?
I think that might be helpful so that we don't potentially cave in the tunnel. That's what I'm worried about. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, please.
Don't kill me.
It's fine.
That's better. That's a 14.
Okay. Yes, there's a moment where the delicate scissors of your Ratter's tools that are designed for things for uses such as this. There's a moment where you realize that you probably haven't taken as good care of them as you perhaps you ought. Your cousin would be very upset with you. And they're a bit blunt, and they start just kind of pulling the wire ever so slightly. But you realize before any harm is done, and just change where you're cutting on the scissors and cut through the wire instead. The wire is. It's not like it's not like the normal wires that you have found in traps and things across the Empire. This is almost a plastic. It's this very, very thin, translucent, like cloudy white material.
Someone with resources. Keep it.
Yeah, keep it. Yeah, keep it. Yeah.
Okay. That might imply that it's someone being funded by one of the noble families in town.
It could be. Yes. But also, is this not a mine for plastic?
No, these are metal mines.
Okay, then never mind.
Or more accurately, Hounton was built between and around metal mines.
But
But
I mean,
it wouldn't.
yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if they hired rats to do work.
Those dirty rats. Not
All
usually.
right then, let's keep going. Good job, Momo, spotting that.
Okay.
Yes, of course, of course, of course. Anything for you guys.
So, you continue on. That was what the D4 roll was for, by the way. Continue on. And you've been, for Sigmund, uncomfortably crouch walking. Actually, I mean, you're a dog. If you wanted to, you could walk on all fours quite comfortably. So it's up to you. You'd have to stow the Warhammer, obviously. But you've been underground for maybe 20 minutes or so before you encounter this trap. And the tunnel isn't straight. It winds up and down, back and forth through the spoil. And sometimes you hear the sounds of movement kind of relatively close by above you, as if you're just nearing the surface of the spoil in that location. And sometimes there's just the dead, still air of a subterranean space that, as far as you are aware, is uninhabited. But it's only about 5 or 10 minutes after that you can all see it because it's a light source. The end of the tunnel, The rocks that make it up have this flickering green glow across them. It's not like bright fluorescent green, more as if there's a candle behind a stained glass window kind of situation. You can't hear anything, but that musky smell is definitely stronger. And actually, as the rats have come up, Cecil, you can place that. You can place the smell as rodents as well.
So do the rocks look like they've been like gathered and put there like as like a barrier or something? It's not something natural, right?
Right. Sorry. Yeah. Quick recap for Tom's benefit. The spoil is a massive heap of well, the term is spoil. It's very originally named. When you mine, obviously you don't want all of the rock, and that unused rock is just thrown into a spoil heap. And it's because Hampton is in the center of all these mines. They just have a communal spoil heap that people just started building on because it's space to live on. So you've just been crawling through essentially loose rock that is held in place only by gravity and pressure from the rocks on the other side.
Oh yeah. Okay, so so the material might be rocks. It might be broken glass or something. It's because you said there's kind of a reflection coming through it.
Yes. So the glow that you can see is I mean, you're all experienced adventurers and you're all used to candlelight. The light source is elsewhere. It's just it's shining on the rocks at the end of the tunnel where it bends.
Okay, I got you. I'm not in a position where I can really move forward to do anything, so we're kind of relying on Momo to go check it out.
So I'm gonna discreetly sneak forward and see what I can see. All discreet. Discretion.
In the absence of a discretion check, could I have a dexterity sneak check instead, please?
Sure. That is 10.
10? Okay.
Yeah.
I will make a roll. I'll do the traditional GM thing of, interesting. You're not perhaps as discreet as you think you are. You think you're the soul of discretion. But Cecil, there's definitely some clinks of loose rock being nudged against each other as Momo sneaks ahead. But there doesn't appear to be any outcry. And Cecil, you get to the edge, you kind of stick your head. Momo, sorry, you get to the end of the tunnel and stick your head around the bend, and you can see that it opens out into a cavern. Is the wrong word because it's not naturally formed, judging by the fact that the sides of this vast space are covered in this grey pebbly material. This is clearly some kind of hidden base at the center of the spoil heap. You can see that the green glow is coming from, there's no better word for it than altar. The center of the space is taken up with this dais with a huge stone block on the top of it. And on top of the stone block is a row of candles. So presumably something has been here recently enough that the candles haven't burned down. But leaning, pressed kind of in front of the candles is this large, and you've seen these in a couple of old you've seen these in like the Church of Man probably has one in its vaults, and as pioneers you've had access to it for whatever reason, and you've seen it in a couple of places, but it's about your size, except horizontal, not vertical, of this green, almost plastic but not quite plastic material, and again one of these proto people, one of these proto humans is on it in this. Most of it's green, but this proto person in some kind of awkward another Rack Inc. fan. this kind of awkward walking image. Appears to be walking in the direction of of a white arrow printed or otherwise impressed onto this green material. The arrow points towards one of the other tunnels, although you don't know if that's by design or just coincidence, really. That is what you see initially, and then as you take in this, perhaps majesty, this could be a long forgotten relic of man. You do also see beyond it, kind of hanging from the ceiling, from the wall, where it's at a weird angle, are 3 heavy metal cages, and you can see figures slumped against the bars. Sorry, there'll be 5, but 3 of them are full. 2 have open doors.
Are the figures dead?
From here, you have no way of telling. You'd have to get closer to inspect them. The whole thing is maybe 60, 70 feet across. It's a large space.
Mm.
And you've just got what you can see from this tunnel, which is quite a narrow... Like, you know that it extends beyond your field of view.
Do I see anyone else in the room at current?
Why don't you make a notice check, which you do have advantage on for being a companion, with your keen observer trick.
Notice is what?
So it'll be 2d20 and pick the highest because of your trick. Add your wisdom modifier, and then if you have proficiency in notice, you add 2 to the total as well.
So that's 19 and 6. So I'm going to go with the 19.
Okay. You can't see anyone else in this cavern currently, but you can hear the soft breathing of something relatively nearby. It doesn't sound as large as, say, you are, but it does sound reasonable. It sounds more like how does it? Like a big dog would sound to us as players. That kind of relative height. I tried to, relate everything to in-world measurements, but sometimes you just have to take that step back and here's this reference point. But there's something weird with the breathing.
I will gesture my companions forward. Come on. There's something in here. It's about the size of a small me. There's cages and a shrine unto man and this cat.
It's a cat shrine. No, he doesn't say that. No. Would Sigmund be able to kind of take his own look?
Yeah, if you're going to the end of the tunnel, I will need a dexterity sneak check, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. So. He won't move then.
Cecil will move forward, and what she's thinking about is that monster-sized squirrel that they saw. It's just in her head. No real concept. It's weird, and this is weird, and they're kind of in the same place. So that's just in her head. But she's going to sneak forward, or stealth forward, and see what she can see. So that's a dex.
Yes, dexterity plus your so d20 plus your dexterity modifier plus 2 if you have the sneak skill, which I don't believe you have.
So that's a 6.
Okay, there's 1 point left in the fortune.
I don't know if that's worth it. I think that we should save that, so I'm gonna live with this.
Okay, no, that's fair. You don't make all that much noise, actually. As with earlier, as with Momo earlier, the floor is extremely irregular. And even you've only been walking on it here for 25, 30 minutes at most. So it kind of catches you a little as your foot brushes up against a bit that's ever so slightly higher than you thought it was going to be. And you don't make that much noise as you stumble and lean it and catch yourself on the wall, but you do knock a small, like the tiniest of stones out of place, and it does clatter tick, 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 to the floor. With Momo having told you that there's something, you can hear the thing relatively close by, and you hear as the breathing, as that slow, even, almost like bubbling sound that you assume is breath, stops, and there's the sound of something, of a small Momo, moving and shifting as if alert. And you can hear like a rapid, loud inhalation of something sniffing the air. Beyond that, you see the cavern that Momo saw.
What? He's got a shield and his hammer out.
Some kind of guard animal. Okay. And she is going to continue forward carefully.
Okay.
Yes.
I assume carefully means kind of staying kind of low, being quiet, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this tunnel, she's probably not going to be able to try to like dodge out of the way of anything. But
dodging, because Sigmund kind of takes up most of the tunnel, dodging would be just diving forwards out of it and hoping for the best.
Yeah, but she's gonna be as ready as possible. So.
Okay. Could I get another sneak check then, please?
You may.
And I will roll for the creature.
16.
Okay, yeah, no. You keep low, and you get to the outside wall of the tunnel, and so for kind of reference, it's not like a sorry for the pun. It's not like a dogleg tunnel. It's a gentle curve, and so you kind of get like to the inside of the curve to look around to see the cavern, and that's where that's where Momo was standing, where Cecil was standing. And you go past to kind of the outside edge of the tunnel to where the tunnel actually enters the cavern, and you kind of keep low and peer around the outside edge of the tunnel, and you are face to face with, it could generously be described as a rat, I suppose. It is basically the size of a small Momo, completely hairless, and much like the squirrel, its top teeth and its bottom teeth have grotesquely extended, so it can't close its mouth, and they're just kind of constantly bashing against each other. You can see where it's I was about to say fur, but it's furless. You can see where its hide is just spattered with chemical burns, and burns like you look at them and you're like, that's probably a chemical burn, it's probably a fire burn, that might be a frost burn, and there are other scars of injuries that you can't really identify off the top of your head. It hasn't noticed you yet. The thing doesn't appear to have very good eyesight. It does have like deep set eyes that are glowing this kind of malevolent red. It's probably an albino if you had to guess, but it is definitely sniffing, and you can see the ragged, torn, rounded shapes of its ears flicking here, this way and that, as it tries to figure out what woke it from what you can see is like just a pile of refuse and scraps that it probably sleeps on. But around its neck is a collar of some, like this big, heavy metal collar. You have a moment to do something before it notices that you are there.
I suppose we've a couple of options. Cecil could sort of go back to the rest of the group and just wait for it to settle back down, which is probably the safest option. Because she doesn't want to kill it. This thing looks like it's already been pretty abused. So she's going to do that. She's going to try to back off and wait.
Okay. After a couple of moments, the sniffing stops, and you hear the kind of the shifting of something moving in the pile of refuse, and that's it. The breathing steadies out again. This long, deep, you assume bubbling breaths because it can't close its mouth properly. But the god rat appears to have gone back to sleep.
There's no way that this is just out of character. That Sigmund is going to be able to stealth around that thing, probably.
No.
We're going to engage it at some point. So
Yeah. We're gonna have to.
I don't mind going first because that's my job. So
Yeah. Cecil's just gonna feel bad if we kill it, but that's okay. She'll survive any emotional
Sigmund can do
sadness.
his best to try to get around it. I don't. I mean, I can roll really well, and we can sneak past it. But just saying, he has everything out and ready to go.
Yeah. Cecil sort of glances at Momo and has a whispered sort of conference of like, it's a guard rat, and does her best to move aside to let Sigmund and his armored self.
Wait, he just has like leather armor. He's not like in like
Okay.
a chainmail or anything like that. But he's still he already moves slow to begin with. So
Yeah, it would actually be worse if he were in heavy armor. So
I wasn't gonna.
For reference, medium armor just imposes disadvantage on dexterity checks, not saving throws or attack rolls, just checks.
Okay.
Heavy armor does that, but also your speed is reduced by 5 feet.
Yeah. He's too old to be wearing heavy armor. So, but yeah. I mean, his goal would be to try to sneak past it if possible.
I am happy to say that if you do reduce any creature to 0 hit points, stamina points, sorry, you just knock it out with a melee attack. With a ranged attack, it's a little more difficult, but not impossible. So I have another roll with that. But if you just want to knock something out with a melee attack, that's fine.
Momo is going to lie flat on the ground with her crossbow to be support, and also so Sigmund can just step right over her.
So I mean, I think as soon as he gets close to it, it's going to smell him, and he's probably going to try to lead a path around it so that they can basically get past it. So
Okay. I'm not going to make Momo and Cecil roll sneak again. Sneak again because they've already rolled. But
right, here we go. Would Traverse help with this?
You know what? I'll let you choose either Traverse or Sneak as the skill. It's still dexterity based, so still at disadvantage and at -1.
Yeah.
But
okay, all right. So it's like, so with using Traverse, basically it's like rolling twice, right? And I just pick the lower, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. A 5 and a 10. All right.
Is that total?
Yeah.
Well, luckily I keep rolling awfully for this thing's perception or notice, I guess. It being asleep is really helping you. Let's put it that way.
Okay. And he's just gonna, if he can get past it, he's just kind of waving them to follow.
Yeah, there's definitely a moment where you step out of the tunnel and you're really sure that it heard you as your armor. It doesn't even clink because it's leather, but it creaks quite loudly. And it does that thing where the breath it hitches for a moment, and you're like, "This is it. I'm gonna have to knock this thing out or kill it." But then it resumes its laborious inhalations. With all of you standing in the cavern, however, you can see that the arrow on the green glass / plastic does point to a tunnel. There are like 3 other tunnels kind of scattered across the circumference of this space. The air, it's not still. You've had some air movement because it's loose rock. There's still going to be air movement, but the air in this space is definitely moving more than you would expect, and there are candles kind of burning at the edge of all of the tunnels just to provide light. And the candles burning at the entrance to the tunnel that the arrow is pointing to, they're flickering quite swiftly as if there is a strong kind of breeze coming through from that direction.
Yeah. We're do we want to glance? Am I able to glance up at the cages now that I'm a little closer?
Yeah, if you walk around, if you quietly and carefully walk around the space.
Yeah. He just wants to glance up at them and see if there's anything moving in there.
Okay, so as you all kind of have time to take this in before deciding what to do next, and as Sigmund walks across the cavern towards the cages, you can see I was about to say one wall, but it's roughly circular. One section of the cavern floor space is taken up with really crude like bed pallets. A small area of it has like a desk with some shelves. Some really primitive, clearly made down here from scavenged materials shelves. The desk itself is not much better. As Sigmund gets towards where the cages are, you can see beneath the cages, because the cages are suspended about 10 feet off the floor. Beneath them are pits. Not terribly deep pits, but maybe like 3 feet deep. But the pits themselves have manacles like bolted to the floor for both hands, feet, and a tail. And there's blood staining the like grey pebbled material of these pits. The cages themselves, you can see well enough to see that. Where are my notes? Although you would never know if I gave you the wrong information. No two ways about it. 2 dogs and a cat. And one of the other cages has the telltale kind of scent of not fresh blood because it's dried, but something has bled there relatively recently and is no longer in that cage.
I think, yes, Sigmund's going to see that, but I don't think at the moment we're ready to engage. I think he's probably going to point his hammer towards the tunnel where the air seemed fresher.
We should maybe since there's a lot of junk down here, we should maybe look around and see if there's anything we can use or if there's anything we should know about here. I don't like this. I don't like this.
Cages are bad.
Cages are bad.
He just mumbles cages are bad.
There's chains. I don't like any of this. Maybe we should look around.
Yeah. Momo, why don't you look at the desk and see? I want to just look at the cages and see if I had to open them if I could.
Okay.
Cecil's question is easily answered. They're padlocked shut. So you could probably pick it given enough time. As I say, they are about 10 feet off the ground, but you can see where there's chains nearby that can lower them to probably hover just above the pits, and you presumably take the thing out of the cage, put it in the pit.
Yeah. Cecil at this point is kind of assuming that these are that the squirrel might have been in the cage that smells like dried blood, and that these are other test subjects potentially, which is awful, but releasing them now, as much as she wants to help because she's a good dog, is potentially dangerous to everyone involved, because she can't actually do anything besides let them loose and then get mauled, which is not helpful.
you also would not be able to get the cage down without waking up the guard. I guess guard squeaker would be the colloquial term. Momo, going over to the desk. Let's see what kind of role. Where's my cursor? What kind of role would this be? I guess it'll be an intelligence check. And if you have proficiency in the heal skill, you can add that +2.
Heal skill, as in healing, or
Yeah, there is a skill called heal. There, like medicine in other games.
okay, no, I don't.
Okay, so it's just just roll d20 and add your intelligence modifier to make sense of what you find.
My intelligence modifier is -1. This is a 15.
Okay. The desk isn't organized, let's say. And calling it a desk is being generous. This is basically a table with a drawer under it. But with the 15, you feel like you get the gist of what you're looking at, and it just seems to be the notes of some insane mind performing whatever experiments they want to upon what they refer to as test subjects. Each write-up report is finished with oh gosh, where was it? Sorry, please bear with me. My brain has gone completely blank because, as I say, I'm not 100% over the thing. There we go. Each one is it is finished with and may this be contributed to the 100 theories.
Ooh. This is a bad person. They probably hurt this cat, which is now my baby. That's why she's got plastic on her. It's a very wealthy cat once upon a time. So, we should take these notes and we should give them to the mayor. And we should let the people who have tools and weapons and resources help these people as soon as possible. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I am thinking, because this is very bad. This is blasphemy against the wishes of man that we should be good boys and girls. This is not good.
Do any of you have no religion as one of your skills?
I have no culture.
No.
I'll let you make a no culture roll if you want to. The difficulty is just going to be higher. So that's based on intelligence, but you can add your
11.
+2. Okay, yeah.
And then +2. Wait, no, sorry, 13.
Yeah. There might be something, but you can't quite think of it right now.
I am not a smart dog, but I am a good dog.
I've had one or two of those.
But what do? You have some, what could charitably be described as medical research. You know that, well, you suspect maybe some of the missing animals, maybe some of the missing residents of Hampton are in the cages, and you have a messed up guard rodent, Squeaker, and several potential points of egress.
Can I have food?
Yes, you can have food.
Okay. Can I try and befriend the Squeaker with my food? Because then it'll be our friend and it'll guard our things. And we will be nice to it because we are good girls.
No, I think
No.
Momo, I'm assuming I see you start to like try to go back towards Momo. Let's just go up that tunnel. There's a draft. We should
go.
get out and inform someone who is better prepared to deal with this rat's nest.
I brought biscuits.
Discreet.
I brought biscuits.
Shh. No, discreet.
I know I'd be mad if someone woke me up even for a snack.
But no, we don't have to wake it up. We could just put the snack nearby.
Not right now. Please.
Okay.
He will carry Momo if he has to.
I mean, she'll go along, but she'll be sad about it. You have inevitably disappointed Momo.
Oh no. So you're heading for the tunnel with the strongest breeze coming from it. Yes.
Yeah, the tunnel that Cecil thinks will lead up and out.
Yeah,
cool.
We're not going back the way we came in.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Oh my god, it's so blurry right now. Hello, Zoom.
Yeah.
What? The last time to fix this last time, all I did was turn off the HD thing. See if that works again. Yes, it did. Turn it back on. The moment you step foot in this tunnel, I will need a sneak roll at some point, but just to foreshadow that, but not right now. The moment you step foot in this tunnel, it becomes immediately apparent that it is newer than the one you used to get here. The wooden supports are much more almost rushed. The joining isn't as professional, for want of a better word, and the tunnel builder excavator has made much more liberal use of this grey pebbled material to shore the tunnel up, as presumably it is just faster than erecting wooden supports. And kind of you start following it, and here and there it kind of forks, but you can see that it's not really a fork. There's just a couple of feet of excavated tunnel, and they've turned around and gone a different way for whatever reason. But at the end of all of these almost dead ends, there is a like a hook driven into the stone, into a rock, and this white coat is just hanging from it. It looks a bit like a travel coat, this heavy white fabric, but you can investigate them. There's nothing in the pockets. It's there almost as if it's like an act of worship or an offering to some deity that isn't man. And it's like the first time you see it, it's kind of it's hung in such a way that there must be some kind of internal skeleton to it, because it looks like someone is just standing at the end of this offshoot tunnel in the hooded lantern glow, and then you see it's just a coat. But you follow the tunnel around, and it winds backwards and forwards, almost continuously going uphill. Like, it starts going downhill for about 10-15 minutes, and then after that it goes continuously uphill, and these offshoots become fewer and fewer, and this tunnel is so much longer than the last one. You're walking for 30, 40, 50 minutes, and at some point, you're not sure when, because it's all just like grey blur as you make your careful way, I assume, but relatively speedy way along the tunnel, and the loose rocks become solid slabs of stone, recent tool marks scoring it. You can see where there are patches of soot on the ceiling where above alcoves have been carved into the rock to provide candlelight, and you can see where there are fragments of broken tools on the floor by your feet, and where rock has been pulled from the tunnel ahead of you and just kind of hurriedly pushed to the side, as if whatever's made the tunnel is working to some kind of schedule, and it's now just a question of excavate it in its entirety before whatever happens. Whereas before it was very much a place built to last, that clearly time and care was taken to make. And you've been walking for about maybe an hour before you notice that the scent ahead of you changes from this musky smell that is being almost constantly being blown like down the tunnel towards you, to a much more fresher smell, almost that kind of smell, that scent on the air that promises rain. There's whatever is ahead of you is definitely above ground. If you would like to make a sneak roll at this point to not alert any potential antagonists ahead of you, that's fine. If not, that's fine too. That's on your head be it.
I'll make a sneak roll. Oof. 2.
Okay. There is 1 point left in the fortune ball.
I don't know how much time we have left. All right, it's up to you
We've
guys.
got about an hour left in this session.
Oh boy. Okay. Then I think no. Save it.
Oh, Cecil and Momo sneaking.
16.
12.
Okay. I will make a roll, but unless I roll a 1... I did not roll a 1. I rolled a 5, which is almost a 1, but it's not a 1. So you keep going in this manner, and curiously, because I assume ever since you noticed that trap in the first tunnel, you're all kind of keeping a wary eye out for traps and things of that nature. Momo, Sigmund, you see nothing. Cecil, to your eyes, not only have you found no traps, you haven't even seen anywhere where someone's attempted to set a trap or could set a trap, beyond just putting like a bear trap, or I guess a paw trap, on the floor of the tunnel. Everything here has been done with a purpose, and that purpose is not to confound pursuers or to kill intruders. This is almost just a straight shot. But you eventually reach the end of the tunnel after maybe an hour and a half of, let's say an hour and 10 minutes of walking. You're experienced enough adventurers to know that you have climbed quite a way in that time, to the point where you're probably in one of the hills surrounding Houndton. If anyone does want to attempt a wisdom survive check for more information about the journey, that would be fine.
I would like to do that, and I do have the survive skill.
Okay, so D20 plus your wisdom modifier plus 2.
Cool. And I'm going to tell you what is going through Cecil's head right now. The fact that there's been no traps probably suggests to her that this leads to somewhere that is thought to be secure, like maybe they're going to come out into someone's home or something like that, which is somewhat concerning, but nothing she can do about it now. It's just something on her mind. Uh, 13.
13. Yeah, I mean, beyond the fact that, I mean, you do know for absolute certain that you have left Houndton proper behind. You're definitely in one of the hills nearby. But beyond that, you've got, you know, you're maybe, doing maths in my head, maybe half a mile from the city limits, air quote city limits, which is probably far enough to hit the estates of the Hound families, but which one, obviously you've got no context for. And the tunnels have been sufficiently disorienting that you don't have any real idea of the direction you've been traveling. Another 5 minutes sees you to a hole in a brick wall at the end of the tunnel. You can smell that scent of rain. You can smell damp air. And you can see through the hole that you found a basement of some kind. It appears to be abandoned. There's some broken barrels and crates in one corner. It's not a terribly large basement, maybe 20 by 20 feet, with a the word has gone, reinforced wooden door leading out of it. But with the words, sorry, I've hit that wall. With Sigmund's sneak result, sorry. As you get through the hole, Momo, Cecil kind of get through it without a problem, and you can't really hear anything through the door. But Sigmund, you catch one of the bricks with like the haft of your warhammer as you come through, and it does knock it loose, and it does land with quite a loud thump on the floor. There's no immediate sounds of alarm, but you're all experienced enough to know that door's probably quite thick, so it either has muffled the sound entirely, or whatever's heard it is just moving quietly enough that you can't hear it. What do you do? As I say, it's a 20 by 20 room. You've got piles of, you've got broken crates and barrels in one corner, and one door out. You've also got the tunnel behind you, obviously.
At this rate, we just trying the door.
We're gonna have to, but before we do that, Cecil's gonna look at the barrels or anything that's in this room that might have a sigil or a seal on it, something to maybe give her an idea of where they've come out.
Okay, no, that's fine. That would be a wisdom notice check, please. I believe you have advantage because of...
Momo might be hopeful in that as well, given her cultured nature.
I would like to backtrack just a bit, because when you called for that roll to see if we knew where we were, I got a 1.
Oh, sorry. You got a 1? Okay.
So I would like to know what misinformation I can spread.
Cool. Was that a 1 on the die?
It was a 1 on the die, yes.
Okay, so you do actually get a point in the fortune pool for that. So with a 1, like, you've been walking a while, Momo, and you've got short legs. You probably feel like you've been walking further than perhaps Sigmund would. 3 for every one of his. And you are almost entirely certain that not only have you left the city limits behind, you've probably just left the area behind. At some point, you're going to come out into some kind of, maybe like a mine building of some kind. Maybe even the one where the smelting pot came from. Who knows? And you're going to have this amazing view of Hounton from a hilltop somewhere.
Okay. So this whole time, like, I'm excited. I've got my little waggly tail going, because I'm thrilled to finally get a good view of what we're gonna be looking at. Just cheerful, chipper. No thoughts of any danger at all.
What was the result of the notice roll, Cecil?
18.
18.
Oh, actually, dirty 20, because I do have the notice skill. So dirty 20.
Okay. It's buried beneath dust and partially destroyed just because of where it's broken on the barrel. But you see what you can reasonably infer, at least, is the coat of arms of the Transylvanian Hounds. You saw it when you were in their house in the city. Beyond that, and it's on a couple of pieces. Now you know to look for it.
She points this out to her party members and whispers, "Did we come out in their abandoned castle, keep?"
No, we're gonna come out overlooking the city, in a mine. We're in the mines, aren't we?
No,
Let's
we're
try the door and find out.
we're in someone's estate.
Right, like a mine estate. Like this is
Yeah.
mine.
No, not mine.
Oh,
Um,
Not
he's
in the
gonna
possessive.
right.
oh.
He's gonna glance over to the door, and probably not assuming there's traps on it, but he's not gonna quite try it yet. He maybe gestures for one of the other two to maybe check it out first.
As the ratter, I volunteers tribute. I look for traps.
Okay.
Are there hinges? On the hinges on the door? Could we possibly take some of the grease off me and grease up the hinges so that it doesn't creak when we open it?
You know what? That's such a good idea. I'm going to add 1 point of fortune to the pool.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna just take some grease off and just like put them on the hinges and then be like, okay.
No, it's a great idea. Sorry, just reading the message in chat. Big Mac. There's currently a Kickstarter going for the second edition of Realms of Pugmire. The link is there. We're 3 sessions into an actual play that is going to end maybe today, maybe next Saturday. But hopefully you stick around and have fun and enjoy what you see here. Back to the game. If you're looking for traps, that would be a notice check, please. Or a search check, depending. But I assume you'll take notice. Both of them use wisdom as their...
And I have the notice skill, so yes, I will use notice. And that is 13.
Cool. For reference, for people watching and for my players, obviously, I'm a big fan of letting my players shine and have, like, for games like this, certainly have a higher chance of succeeding. So technically, this would be a search thing, but I know you're better at noticing, so I don't mind, giving you that option. With a 13, you are reasonably confident that the door is untrapped. You do, however, hear the sound of something moving quite quietly on the other side of it as you kind of get close and examine it carefully.
She is going to press one of her ears to the door, and I know that probably looks a little comical because it's a long floppy ear, but she does it regardless.
Yeah, there's the barest, because it's a thick door, but it's not a sealed door by any stretch of the imagination. There's the barest sound of something scuffing the rock, scuffing like stone on the far side of the door, and maybe the creak of a bowstring.
She backs down a bit from the door and says, Sigmund, get your shield up. I think there's something on the other side.
He kind of pantomimes like getting away from the door, and what he can do is use his warhammer to see if he can open the door so no one's standing in the doorway. Like if he can stand on the one side and use his hammer to pry open the door.
Yeah, it's so the door opens inwards. That was an important piece of information, I suppose. The door does open inwards, so you could just stand behind it and pull it open easily enough anyway.
Okay. Yeah, because what I want to do is if there's somebody pointing a bow at us, I don't want anyone standing in the doorway. I'm thinking is like if there's a way to, or yeah, I mean, if it's one of those things that he can kind of stand behind the door when he opens, but he wants to make sure that Momo and Cecil aren't standing in the line of fire.
Makes total sense.
So may I suggest that Cecil opens the door because Momo has a crossbow and will probably be shorter than someone on the other side of the door. And you'll be up there, so then I can come out from behind the door.
Yep. Sigmund's kind of leading with his shield. So
does that sound like a reasonable formation? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Three Stooges. Let's go.
What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly.
Okay. When you were inspecting it for traps, the door is not locked. There is no locking mechanism. It seems to be more just like a storeroom door kind of thing. Just so I know if any rolls need to be called for. Is the plan that Sigmund's just going to stand in the door and take any shot, or is he going to bust through it and shield bash?
I think it's probably more. He's probably gonna just go in with his shield. So that if somebody is taking a shot, he's gonna basically take one for the team. So
okay, no, that's fine. Okay, no rolls required then. The door, Cecil pulls the door open. It opens silently and very smoothly, thanks to the greasy smid on the hinges. And there is a rat on the other side of the door. It's maybe about Momo's height. Rats and mice are quite short. But when I say rat, I mean uplifted, bipedal, capable of speech. This one is a brown rat, but it's got patches of fur that have been bleached or dyed white. And it kind of visibly panics at the sight of Sigmund just looming in the door, shield ready. And there is a twang as it basically just panic fires its crossbow, and the bolt just slams into Sigmund's shield. There's no attack roll. You were prepared for it. So kind of the shield dents slightly, and the bolt actually at close range it would puncture it. So you've got a bolt sticking halfway through your shield, but it doesn't do any damage to you. The rat is momentarily off balance if you would like to do something.
Am I close enough to hit it?
Yeah, you can just take it. So beyond it, it's just a flagstone hallway, subterranean kind of estate level. So it's maybe 3 feet away from you. You could just step, and if you wanted to, slam against the wall opposite.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I don't know if I want to. I mean, I could swing my warhammer at it and probably kill it, but the thing I'm thinking about doing is doing almost like rushing forward with the shield and just trying to shield bash it, just to basically just knock it out of the way. But also I'm blocked. Also focusing, it's going to focus on me so that the others can come out. So
yeah.
So he'll just charge forward, just slam his shield into its face if possible.
Why don't you? Yeah, I guess this would be an attack roll.
Yeah.
You have advantage because it's completely off balance. It didn't expect the door to be opened and this to happen. So this would be roll the d20 twice, pick the higher result.
Okay.
Add your strength modifier and add 2 for your proficiency.
The first one is a 23 with the strength, and the next one would be an 18. So then that'll be a 21. So
yeah. You wanted to knock the rat out, right? Yeah. There's a moment of where your arm is just numb from the impact of bolt through shield, and then you push through it because you've done this before many times, and it's right there. You're a good dog. This is what you do. This is how you define being a good dog, defending others, and without it's more just muscle memory. One step and then just a full slam against the wall opposite. The crossbow falls to the floor. Just the rat slides down the wall limp. It's still breathing. It's going to be very sore when it wakes up. And, you may have broken a rib or two, but it is still alive.
Yeah. He just kind of waves the others. He kind of glances at them finish it.
No. Cecil's got 100 feet of rope, so she cuts off some of the rope to bind. She got a lot of rope through character creation. She cuts off a bit of the rope, and while it's unconscious, binds its fore and back paws together. And I don't know, does it have a snout that she can
you can
around
bind the snout together so it can't speak, essentially.
Yeah. So it's essentially not going to cause trouble while they figure out what to do next.
Yep. With the rat incapacitated and completely subdued and totally incapacitated, the corridor stretches left and right. Left, it just assuming you're still using the hooded lantern, continues until it hits a brick wall. And it's all this kind of smooth grey stone. You can see where there are sconces bracketed from the wall. They're just unlit. And they, in fact, don't have anything in them. They're just the iron cage. There's another 2 of these wooden doors to your left down that for the corridor ends about 50, 60 feet away. To your right, you can see there's a flight of steps down which light, natural light, is pouring.
I think heading towards the natural light. But I want to get out. He wants to see the sun.
Cecil's not gonna rush towards that light. We need to figure out where we are, but then she's gonna want, if we are where she thinks we are, then they're gonna need to do a sweep of the estate and see what else is going on here.
Yeah. Okay. A good point.
So proceeding cautiously.
Yes.
I won't make you roll. I've made you yet, at least. The steps leading up are worn, clearly very old. The mortar holding them together is still mostly intact, and they are stable beneath your feet. But you've been in ruins before. This definitely feels like a ruin, just from the general disrepair and texture. Quality is the wrong word as well. Appearance of the stonework, let's say. But the stairs bring you into a large, high-ceilinged room. The light's coming from rows of windows that are set about 7 to 8 feet up, so right at the top of this room. And it shines through onto a vast stone table that dominates the middle of the room. At the far end is what maybe at one point, before it rusted, was a huge iron range. One wall has hooks for presumably cooking utensils to go with the range, and store cupboards line the wall opposite the range. The light coming through the windows, however, is perhaps not as bright as you'd expect. You can see thick grey clouds kind of blowing across your field of vision. The way out of what you assume to be a kitchen is through a double door, currently closed, in a stone archway that's kind of in the center of one of the walls. Almost immediate opposite it is a single door that presumably leads outside. You can hear the faint sounds of movement from beyond the double doors, like further into the building.
He's gonna just glance back and see which direction they want to go. Want to check out other rooms first before we try these double doors.
Where did we potentially hear the noise of other occupants? Was it past the double doors?
Yes. Sorry, I may have been unclear. There are 2 ways out of beyond turning around, going back the way you've come. There are 2 ways out of this room. There's double doors beyond which you can hear the sounds of movement, and those are situated in this like impressively carved stone archway. The doors themselves seem new. The wood still gleams with that freshly oiled warmth, even in this grey light coming through the windows. The other door, it still looks new, and you can see where the stone around that door frame, and that's a single door, the stone around the door frame has been chipped out to fit this door, to retrofit this door in. But the wood is of lesser quality. It's clearly not designed to be seen. It's just a functional door.
Okay.
It is bolted on the inside as well.
So it's bolted on the side that we're on, or the other
Yes,
side?
you can see the bolts have been shot. Sorry.
I suggest the bolted door first.
And he'll Sigmund will go up. Oh wait, he'll turn. Look at Momo.
Okay, it's bolted, right? We can all see that it's locked. And I'm on board with this. But is it locked to keep us in or something out?
We won't know until we open it.
Yeah, but you get the idea of what I'm
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you getting what I'm fishing for? If I knew how to fish, I don't know what fishing. I'm a merchant. I'm not a fisher dog.
Yes,
I'm not.
I'm chasing the ball that you're throwing out.
Okay, good. Yes, that is an adequate and excellent analogy. I am so proud of you. Fantastic wordplay. Good job, Cecil. Yes. So, but that is the question. Is that there to protect us or to protect it? Whatever it may be.
That seems to be the way out.
Okay. But just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind.
And Sigmund wants to take a little more grease and wipe it on the bolt to see if he can keep it from creaking or making excessive noise when they unbolt it.
I love the recycling of the Sigmund grease.
Oh, and if there's any hinges or anything, he's gonna grease those as well, just in case. So,
Yeah, that's fine.
and then he'll probably undo the bolt then, doing it as slowly as possible.
Okay. Why did I just read the phrase "oily Siggy"? I don't want to have read that. With the fact it's a new door, and with the addition of the grease, it opens silently. I can't unsee it. It's true. YouTube has no idea what we're on about, and for that, YouTube, be grateful. The door opens like you can just crack it and then open it wider if you want to, but it opens silently and smoothly. It's well weighted. It opens into an overgrown but very obviously walled garden. You can see where things you recognize as herbs have just grown wild against a rundown red brick wall. This is probably a kitchen garden at some point, if you had to guess.
That's an herb. You can eat that.
There is a path that's been kind of tramped down through the wildly growing plant matter that leads to a gate on the far side of the garden. But it's almost certainly not an original path, because one, there's no gravel or hardpack or anything. It is just people have flattened the plant life, and two, you're pretty sure it goes across several like edible plant beds, because you can see where there's the earth has been the earth is peeking up through the plants.
This is the food place.
Sigmund just wants to just look around because we thought we heard voices earlier, or we heard movement or something.
That was the door on the other side. That one is not barred.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Well,
that was on me.
No, that's fine. He's gonna just step out and just basically just still looking around, just always on guard.
I assume stepping out into the garden itself.
Yes.
Yeah. Pushed up against the wall is a the flattened area has been widened by the wall, and pushed up against it is a pile of uniformly cut grey like paving flagstones, some covered timber, and a whole selection of construction tools.
So somebody's reinforcing this place for future use. But who? Besides maybe the Transylvanian hounds.
I can't imagine the Transylvanian hounds are not in a financial way to.
This might be because it's been like 3 weeks. You were told that the ball is being held at the Transylvanian Hound Estate.
I remembered that, and I thought I misremembered it.
No,
because...
no, you remembered correctly.
Okay.
They were very bitter about it because they weren't consulted and had to be invited to their own estate.
Then why are there rats here? Because it's tomorrow night. Why aren't there people all over this place getting it ready?
The rats are just mercenaries.
Betrayal.
Maybe.
Indiscretions.
Or it's just they've just been preparing the stuff on the other side of the door.
Maybe. Wait, who is arranging the ball? Is it the mayor or is it somebody else? It's somebody else, isn't it? It's somebody else. Who stands to benefit?
Would we know who is organizing, like, because I'm assuming it's just like a collective of the in-hound families, like the hound families that are in right now.
Do you have no culture? Just make an intelligence check.
I have no culture.
Momo can make a no culture check. It's the same. It's an intelligence check. You just add your proficiency bonus of +2.
I do not know this culture. I have my intelligence is -1, remember. So this says this is 3.
Okay. Yeah. No. You have. I mean, the basic information that you would always get is that it's probably the political elite of the city. So almost certainly the mayor, who happens to be elected from the hound families. So it's probably the hound families. It was the Ottoman Empire. I love that joke. Beyond that, yeah, the nobles are probably the ones organizing this.
Because we've got those notes of something going on with the rats, and then somebody building something up here. So, but my instinct is, who do we trust with that information now? I mean, I think we can bring it back, but I don't think we want to go to the mayor.
Let's see what's on the side of the refurbished door, and we can go from there. At worst, I know I probably have more of a history of sneaking around places I'm not supposed to be than y'all. So what I recommend is that if you're caught by someone, act like you belong. It will at least confuse them long enough for you to do something.
I'm here. Of course I belong.
There you go.
Wherever
right.
I go, there I am. And I belong where I am. I wouldn't be here if I didn't belong here.
So
I don't understand this, but okay. I'm with you.
all right. So is Sigmund gonna open the newer door?
Okay. Same process, I assume. Smig, grease on it.
Yep.
Very
Yep.
carefully close it. This one opens outwards.
Okay.
But much as with the retrofitted external door, it's new, it's well balanced. The addition of the grease makes it silent. As you open it, you realize quickly that this place was in a horrendous state, because you can see that the room it opens into is probably a dining room of some kind, or a ballroom based on the size, but it has no far wall. It just continues out to the external wall of the building. You can see where there used to be a wall because it's about chest height for Sigmund, and you can see where there's like this impressively wide, probably double doorway. There's no door because there's no frame, and you can see where stonework has been pushed to the side to make room for more piles of timber and stones, roofing tiles. A lot of money's been put into this, and today would probably be the the day where they remove everything from the site to then spend tomorrow making it ready, if not throughout the night. However, you can see in what would be the entrance hall. So you've got kind of like this big ballroom dining room with a table pushed to one side, carefully covered in a dust sheet. But what you can see of the legs, it's made of stone, and there are like really faint scratch marks in the black and white tiles of the floor. The ceiling above you is clearly new, like the wood, the plaster obscuring whatever's above you it still looks damp. It's clearly drying. So that's the room you look out into, and then the room beyond it, which presumably the entrance hall, you can see on one wall like a staircase that went up at some point, but it's just broken. It goes like halfway up and then ends. You can see windows, 2 doors much like the ones you've just opened. There's this warm glow of freshly oiled wood. Enormous picture windows that do look out over the city, as Momo predicted. Maybe not necessarily from a mine, but you get a lovely view of the city. But between all of that, which is obviously an external wall, you can see a cluster of... Hang on, I need to check my notes. It would be 5 figures. 4 of them are kind of standing around a huddled group of... I don't want to repeat the word figures, but figures that are taller than what kind of look like guards, maybe. The guards look about the same height as the rat that you shield bashed into unconsciousness. The figures themselves look probably like a construction crew. From what you can see from here, it's like just plain clothing, and they're dogs and cats. The rats are wearing hoods, which makes it a bit difficult to tell what they are, but they're wearing these like white hooded coats that kind of scrape the floor. The 5th figure appears to, and is the one making the sound that you heard. It appears to be assembling some kind of stage for itself out of just boxes and pieces of stone, and it's just like pushing them into place. You think that it would probably cover any noise you make for the next minute or so if you wanted to do something before that time limit runs out. Also, when I say guards, they're threatening. The construction crew are on their knees, like hands up kind of situation.
Thank you for that clarification.
I thought that was important information that I'd missed.
Yeah. Thank you for the clarification. So then I suppose our options are Momo-induced confusion or sneak out.
Momo-induced confusion is always great. It might get her killed though. But...
No, I don't think it would get her killed.
I will say, for the purposes of time and slight metagaming, this is a carefully crafted combat encounter that you can succeed at. Just like it's not.
But we probably don't have enough time to start it now, right?
Probably not. But yeah. I didn't want it to be like a hey, we probably shouldn't deal with this kind of situation, because you can.
Yeah, because Sigmund doesn't want, is afraid these guys are going to get killed or something
if we leave.
Yeah. We can.
Cecil being Cecil is going to suggest that we leave quietly, and it sounds like Sigmund will disagree with that. And
well, he'll then look over at Momo.
Momo is just going to go straight forward. Yes, hello. Yes, hello. This is not what I asked for. No, I am Momo. I am the great Momo. And this is total disrepair. There's no candles anywhere. Where are the candles? I do not see the candles. Where there should be many, many candles, so many candles that it makes everything glow. Glow like the moon. Ow! Yes, there should be more candles. No, and these white coats, this is not, no, it's crimson this season. Crimson, my darlings, not chartreuse, not puce, but crimson, like the blood of our enemies. Yes, yes, no, this is last year. This is not now. Let's go, come on, let's keep moving. These boxes are in the wrong place. We need to move them now. Now we need to move them. Yes, come. Why are you standing there? Let's get this going. We have a ball tomorrow. We must chase the ball like the moon of our ancestors. Why are you looking at me? This must go. The ball must go on.
Okay, so two things. One, what are Cecil and Sigmund doing while Momo is Momoing?
I kind of go with the original idea of pretend like you belong, even though he's this big greasy dog. But he probably is gonna like maybe stow his shield and warhammer behind him so they can't necessarily see it, and maybe just kind of cross his arms, kind of like
I seeing Sigmund do this, Cecil is going to act like she's taking notes from Momo and acting with great deference.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second thing is that the one that had been pushing stuff around turns and cocks its head, and it is a rat. You can see its snout, it's kind of sticking out from the hood, and it's got one hand cradling this kind of matte silverish ball to its chest. Cecil, as you examined the display case in the Transylvanian Hounds estate, you can't discern this is the thing that was stolen, but it's the right size for the depression that was on the cushion. But I would like a perform check from Momo. If you don't have perform, that's fine. It's a charisma-based check. Because Sigmund and Cecil are helping, I will allow you to roll with advantage. Roll twice, pick the high result, use your add or subtract your charisma modifier, and then +2 if you have perform.
And I also have a trick. Rank has its privileges. If that would help influence the, like I'm obviously rich and powerful and former military, so
That'll lower the difficulty.
okay.
There's just an authority that exudes from
Yes,
Sigmund.
yeah. He's just kind of like puffing out his chest, and even though he's all covered in grease, he's still, like.
Well, Greece is in this year.
It is. I got a 10.
Got a 10. Okay. The figure, who is about Momo's height, just cocks its head. Is he quite finished? And the guards behind it are clearly looking to that figure for instruction. They are, like most people when confronted with Momo, they have no idea how to react to Momo. But the figure in the apparent leader just doesn't seem terribly phased. Are you quite finished? Because you would make it a wonderful subject.
Yes, you have brought it. This is very good. I'm glad you have brought it because it was not where we were looking for it. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Anyway,
you wish?
we need to move the boxes.
Proffers the metal ball to you. You wish this?
Yes.
It's mine.
No.
No, it's mine now.
I told you this was a mine. I told you. Did I not tell you this was a mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have, well, be welcome. You've come at a most fortuitous moment, for I was to rehearse for tomorrow's festivities.
Okay, and I am hired, yes, by the Great Papillon family. The Papillons, you know them, the doggies with the big ears. Yes, like the butterfly. Yes, they hire me on behalf of wife of Transylvania Hound to make sure everything goes good. Yes. And you have the seniors that we have come for. So now we move the boxes and we get out. I am also here for the festivities to make sure the activity is going, yes, very well.
The figure just straightens up. And when it said tomorrow's festivities, it kind of almost unconsciously stroked the metal ball. But but it straightens. It kind of just straightens up, shrugs almost dismissively, and turns. Points to one of the guards. That one bores me now. If they speak again, shoot them. And the guard turns a crossbow onto Momo.
I'm going to turn my crossbow onto the guard. Yes, two is can be playing at the same game. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at this point, I would say roll initiative. And we'll get as far as we can. We might be able to finish it in the 30 minutes we have left. Because combat in this is different to combat in D&D, so it will go faster. So I believe on your character sheet you have an initiative box.
Yep.
If not, it's just your dexterity anyway.
Yep.
I will roll
16.
16.
5.
Okay. So right now, so there's no order as there is in other games. This one is literally we're just rolling to see who goes first. So 16 is the number to beat. I'll just go down with group 1. They rolled a 17. The leader got a natural 20, so they're probably going first because that adds to 22. And the other one, yeah. So the leader, the one that was talking, just you see their body language shift. That there's just that resignation of violence is about to happen, and I can't do anything about it. So I'm going to deal with it as quickly as I can, so I get back to the more important things. So it turns, and as they turn, they reach into their like a pocket on in their coat, and they pull out a flask of some kind and throw it straight at Momo because Momo's the one that's aggravating them right now. So I'm going to roll and add 4 to this. Does a 19 equal or exceed Momo's defense?
It exceeds.
Okay. I have to check. Don't mind me rolling that. That's just for reasons. Where's my D8 gone? There it is. Okay. So the flask that it throws is quite small, extremely well stoppered, and it lands square on Momo's breastplate and shatters into fragments of clay. You take 4 points of acid damage. As not really your armor, because the acid just kind of falls off of it and becomes inert, but the splash across your exposed skin or fur catches you unawares. That's its turn, really. It just points at Momo. Because I started the initiative, I now pick who goes. The two... You do notice that as you are now paying more attention, 2 of them have crossbows. 2 of them appear to have just large needles that they're kind of holding like crossbows. It's hard to envisage. But the 2 of them, the 2 that have the crossbows, they just move into flanking positions, and they're just going to fire 1 attack each at Sigmund and Cecil. Unless any of you want to spend one of the 3 fortune points you have to interrupt the initiative and take a turn.
Yeah, I think I'd actually like to have Sigmund try to jump in, so before they can outflank him.
Okay,
I'm good with that.
Yeah. So Sigmund, you see the as the figure points, clearly in order to attack. You see the 2 with crossbows kind of splitting up and almost go into use this chest high wall as a brace for their crossbows. And now is the moment to act. So you have the initiative. If you look at the cheat sheet I sent you, it lists out all of the actions you have in combat.
Okay.
Starts on page 4.
Let's see.
Don't worry about distances and speeds and stuff.
Okay.
If you have to run to
Um,
get somewhere, I'll tell you. But
Okay. So who would be the closest to me? The leader?
right now, yes, the
Or
leader is the closest one to you.
I'm actually just going for him.
Okay.
And I want to just gonna swing the warhammer at his head.
Go for it.
So, all right. So now I have the +4. So I add that to my attack roll.
If
This
it's on
This
your
is
character, it's
roll.
+4. Yeah. So that's what you add to the d20. That's with your.
Okay.
That's got everything factored in already.
Okay. 14.
14 is its armor class. So, would you like to describe how you hit this rat?
Just basically just smashing, like basically just trying to like smash down his head.
Okay.
So okay. So now I just gotta roll my damage then. So it's at 1d8 plus 3. So 1d8 and 6.
Oof. So you knock it backwards a couple of steps, and it kind of it rights itself just by throwing an arm out and holding itself upright against the stage it had been constructing. It is clinging to that metal orb.
He's basically just trying to get everyone's attention. The tank.
Yeah, no.
so
Draw aggro.
they'll shoot at him. So yeah.
However, as you took the initiative, you can now choose who goes next.
Okay. Probably Cecil.
Okay. I'm not going to interrupt the initiative. So what would you like to do on your turn?
Okay. How far are we from them?
From them, basically, if you
I'm trying to determine if I need to. I have 2 speeds. One is 30, one is 40. I'm assuming the 40 is if I run like a dog.
Yeah, it's all fours.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out if I need to do that to get to them before they get to me.
For the purposes of distances and ranges, a move will get you to the one that appears to be in charge. You will need to run, which is you move as your action to get to the other 2 groups. They're just slightly out of range, just out of 30 feet.
Okay. I want to run to the whoever is covering the guards.
Okay. So you have a choice then. There's the 2 with the crossbows. There's one on either side of this group of construction workers. And then the ones with the giant needles are just further away. But you can still reach them with a run action if you want.
My goal here is to get the construction workers up so that they can assist or run so that we don't have to worry about also protecting them. So
Okay.
she's going to go for the people that are stopping the construction workers from doing that.
Okay. The ones with the crossbows are currently facing away from them because they were the ones that were being told to fire on Momo if she spoke. The other 2 are more the ones at the back are the ones providing cover, are covering the construction workers. So I assume you're going to.
Then I'm going towards them.
Okay,
Yeah.
you run towards one of them. That's easily done. Unfortunately, that does take your action as well because it's just too far for a normal move. Would you like to pick an NPC to go, or do you want to give Momo the turn? I will say, obviously, you can't pick someone who's already had to turn that round, and there's nothing stopping me from picking. So if I have the last slot in the initiative order as the guide, there's nothing stopping me from picking the exact same thing to act twice in a row because it starts a new round.
I would pick Momo if mechanically there was anything she could do about the acid that's eating through her breastplate.
Oh no, it's just a one and done effect. It's not
just a one and
It's
done.
not persistent effect.
Then NPC is fine.
Okay. The one one of the 2 you're menacing, or the ones with crossbows?
One of the ones I'm menacing.
Okay. So they're just going to act as a group at the same time, just to cut down on bookkeeping. The We'll go with the one that you're menacing first. Where is that one? On him, I think. There we go. Yeah, they're not terribly great. As you get closer to it, it kind of shifts how it's holding the needle, so it's more like holding it like a rapier, and just lunges for you. It's not terribly good at this, though. 15 versus your defense?
Beats it by 2.
Okay. For a mighty 2 piercing damage, as it just goes through some soft tissue. The other one looks at, we'll say Sigmund, but he does get some cover from just everything that's happening around. And it just gestures with its hand, and the needle flies as if propelled psychically towards Sigmund. That would be a 14. Does that hit Sigmund's defense?
Yeah, he has a 14.
Okay, but because of everything that's going on, you're at +2 to that. Just
okay.
So it kind of bounces off of the.
Probably got a shield. So
yeah, it pings off of your shield, and it just kind of loops back around and returns to the to the rat that threw it. Going to give it to the 2 with crossbows, because then it gives Momo the choice to who goes immediately after Momo. And the two of the crossbows are just going to fire at Momo, so I'll roll them together. Where's there? There we are. I've got a 9 and a 13. You are muted.
No, I have 13 defense.
Okay, so one of them does hit you with the crossbow. For a mighty 3 piercing damage from a bolt straight through, I don't know, like a shoulder or something. But it is now Momo's turn.
It's not looking good for our brave hero, Momo. Sagging to the ground under the unbearable weight of her pain and suffering, she rallies with her crossbow and shouts, "Eat bolts, you turd!" and then fires at the leader.
Okay.
And that is a 18.
18, yes, that hits. Please make your damage roll.
1d10 plus 2 is 8 damage.
Okay. Let's do maths. There we go. Okay, I'm sorry. 1 second. I need to do this the other way. So for context, behind the scenes, certain enemies have to make a morale check once a certain condition is met, and if they fail it, they flee because they don't want to stick around to die, for example. I habitually count up from 0 to the hit point total that the thing has, but the rules are like X number or fewer, so I'm just gonna have to readjust my maths. That's how much health it's actually on. It is basically pinned by its leg for a moment to the impromptu stage that it was making, and it's kind of looking a little panicky right now. Almost bent double, trying to shield the metal ball from all of you. You can pick someone to go after you. You can pick yourself if you wish, because everyone else has acted, so it's the start of a new round.
I want to languish dramatically. And also I want to see what the leader will do. So I pick him.
Ooh, exciting. I was going to interrupt the initiative and everything, but no, I don't have to. So what the leader does is makes an intelligence check. Fantastic. The leader kind of straightens, looks at Sigmund, takes and sees Momo. Cecil's behind him. Has no time for Cecil right now. Well, if that is to be how, if this is how it is, we shall do it with the immortal words of man. And it does something to the metal ball, and it's just a prank, bro. And it holds the ball up, and the 2 halves of the ball start spinning and like starts speeding up and lets go, and it just hovers in midair. Sigmund, as you're the closest, you can feel an incredible amount of heat being generated by whatever this relic is. But it then, unless anyone is going to interrupt the initiative order, is going to pick one of its lackey groups. So it'll, next in the initiative then will be the ones with the floaty needles. We're going to try to skewer Cecil. These ones, what do these ones make? Cool. So the one in front of Cecil is just going to try to stab him again. Stab her again, sorry. The other one is going to try and launch its needle at Sigmund again. So that's an 11 versus Cecil's defense.
That's lower than Cecil's defense.
Grand. But Sigmund does get a large needle with a total of 20. Not natural.
Oh.
But it is a mere... Oh, sorry, I rolled the wrong die. It is a mere 3 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
As the needle.
So I have a question about damage. I don't see a health tracker on the sheet.
It's
Or
stamina.
should we just
It's
be
our stamina, I think.
subtracting the 2 from stamina?
Yes.
Okay,
Once your
From your
stamina
current.
once your stamina hits
Yeah.
0, that's when you're in trouble.
thank you.
No worries. So yeah, the Sigmund's probably a bit focused on the ball that's now floating in midair and is generating an inordinate amount of heat to really realize as the giant needle slams into his shoulder. But there's this really unfortunate squelching noise as it pulls back out. No one's touching it. It just pulls itself out by its own steam force and returns back to kind of hover in front of the rat who threw it. And then, I'll pass it over to Sigmund.
Would a skill, using a skill, take up my action?
Probably. It depends what you
I
want to
use
do.
intimidate.
Yeah, I'd say that's an action.
Okay. Yeah, if it's gonna take up an action, I'm not gonna do it. So he's just gonna try to brain this guy again with the warhammer.
Okay.
The leader. So.
Yep.
Okay. So, 12 probably misses, I would think.
12 does miss. You do have 2 points
Okay.
of fortune if you do want to reroll, but it's entirely up to you.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna use one of them, and then 16.
16 hits. Please make your damage
Okay.
roll.
All right, let me do damage. Let's see, it's 9.
Okay. It behooves me to ask at this point, were you trying to kill or incapacitate?
Kill.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You just bring the warhammer and like a level sweep and crush its head against the stage behind it. It falls to the ground.
Yep.
Well, it would, except his leg is pinned to the stage. So it kind of slumps awkwardly.
Has the ball dropped
No,
or
the ball
come back
continues to
still
spin.
living? Okay. Okay.
It's speeding up, if anything, but it is your turn.
Oh, great. Okay.
So
'Cause what I'm hoping is that will demoralize the other guys now that I just crushed their leader.
it might. I'll be honest. It might. Who are you choosing to go next?
I think I'm gonna let them. I'm gonna see if they make a move.
Okay,
So-
there is technically only one group of enemies that can act, and yeah, they're it. Actually, so fun fact: there are different enemy types in Realms of Pugmire. Specifically, enemy tags. There are enemies, there are minions, and there are legendary. Legendary, like the bosses, it's like one legendary creature is equal to a party. Minions have 1 hit point. Also, minions don't have to make morale checks because you hit them once and they're dead anyway. But that doesn't seem thematically and narratively appropriate right now, so I'm going to roll for them anyway. But the chance of them succeeding is not high. No, they both fail. They take one look at the fact that you've just internally decapitated their leader, and just like vault the wall, and unless anyone stops them, they're going to run back through the basement.
I'm not going to stop them. We have that one that we tied up earlier. They're not going to stop for that one. We can question them later.
Okay. Yeah, so, you know what? Pass it over to Cecil.
Okay.
There
I
are
Sorry,
two
go on.
combatants. There's one in front of you that stabbed you, and there's one kind of on the other side of the room.
So I have a rucksack. I want to dump the stuff out and see if I can just drape it over this ball that's spinning in midair. And
Just ignoring the combatant in front of you.
yep,
Okay.
because this is probably concerning, and maybe, I don't know, she doesn't know anything. Why the heck not?
No, that's fair. As an explanation, the creature in front of you will get an attack of opportunity against you if you move outside of its melee range.
That's fine.
Okay. I mean, it's not the chances of hit. It's not terribly accurate.
I mean,
I rolled a 4. We can assume nothing happens.
Cool. I was going to say the ball is potentially more threatening.
Definitely. Things will happen if you leave it to do whatever it's doing. Yeah, you feel like the woof of air as the needle parts the air behind the back of your neck as you just turn and run. You might have lost the ends of your fur as you've got long fur, but that's fine. Let's go with... I guess intelligence is probably the best roll. Just like not as an action, just as a like I'm here. This is what I figuring out situation. I'll just see if there's any skills that might apply to it. Not really, unless you have no religion.
Nope.
Yeah. Just make an intelligence check then, please.
That's a nat 20.
Okay. So,
which is shocking, and I'm really happy with, because I have a 0 intelligence modifier.
No, that's fine. To quote from the rules text that we have, if the total result of the roll after all, triumph. If the number of the d20 is a 20, regardless of modifiers, the action succeeds in a particularly good way. So as you weren't specifically trying an action, you still get to do something, but you get there and you notice that the two, and it's like time slows for a moment as the wave of heat hits you, and you can smell the tips of your fur starting to singe. Sigmund reeks at this point because it's so close to the heat source and covered in grease. But you can see there are symbols on the orb etched into it, very faint, as if by like acid etching. But not only in the symbols, there are buttons on top of it, and you think if you hit the buttons in the right way and align the symbols in the right way, it would stop whatever is happening. But you now have your turn to do something. You have your action still if you want to do something.
Okay. Seeing that, slam my paws on the thing to try to close the sides and turn. I'm trying to close the thing.
Yeah, no, that's
or
fair.
turn it off.
Sorry, I also added fortune for just ignoring the minor threat and trying to deal with the big threat, because that seems suitably heroic.
I do have the trick folk hero. I don't remember what that does, but it seemed appropriate.
I believe that one is you can spend fortune to gain allies.
I'm not worried about it right now.
Yeah, you can basically just say at any point, this one is an old friend or a relative.
Oh, awesome. Fun times. I'll try that next time there's a guard.
Okay, Sigmund Freud. Lee, why are you like this? I love it so much. So we can do one of two things. You can attempt an intelligence check to figure it out, or you can roll a d20 and just tell me what you get. I'll tell you now, the basic luck check will be just more difficult than an intelligence check. but it's what you feel like would be appropriate in character
This
I
is
will
for
try
Sigmund.
to-
Oh no, for Cecil.
for
I'm sorry.
Cecil.
Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm trying to. I think intelligence is fair. It's about
Okay.
as. It's like the opposite of trying to crack a safe. Not that she's ever done that.
No, obviously not. You can't prove anything.
17.
Okay. Are you proficient in steel?
No, I actually do not have that skill.
Okay, I couldn't remember. 17. So you're not quite there. You do like manage to close it. It is still turning, but it has slowed dramatically. The waves of heat have not ceased, but they're less intense. Your best guess, you're going to have to take more time with it, but you can also get help from other people. Momo's the only actor in the scene who hasn't acted yet, so you kind of have to pass it to Momo. The
I
initiative.
do that.
What would you like to do, Momo? The situation is fluid. There's a dead rat. There are 2 rats fleeing, and there are 2 with giant needles that they're controlling without touching them. And
Can I? Go ahead.
Cecil's got this relic that is moving, but is now slowing down, but is still putting out heat.
Can I free the construction workers?
They're not bound or anything. It's just the threat of violence was keeping them
Oh, okay.
down. And now that 2 of them things are fleeing, there's definite kind of 1 or 2 of them are definitely sizing up the remaining guards.
Okay. Can I help Cecil in any way?
You can try to deactivate the relic.
With a negative intelligence, this doesn't
Well,
seem
you
like
can
the
try to
wisest
figure it out,
thing.
or you can just press things and hope.
What could go wrong?
You can't make it worse.
I'm pretty sure I could if I tried. You don't know.
I mean, the odds of making it worse, you've got 2 points of fortune in the bowl, so you could, if you rolled a 1, you could re-roll it.
The thing is, I'm looking at I have 4 stamina points left. So
I'm going to put it this way: you want to stop the thing before it explodes.
I will stop the thing before I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best.
There you
I mean, I can't Momo my way out of this.
So again, same deal. Intelligence is easier, but you have the -1, or you can just blindly hit buttons and hope.
Do I have to pick before I roll?
I need to know, yes.
I'm gonna go with luck, I think.
Okay.
Just
So
'cause
it's harder, but you do get a point of fortune in the bowl. So
let's go with luck. That gives me 11.
11. You don't make it worse, but you don't make it any better either. You're just kind of blindly hitting things. It might have slowed down, but that might just be natural, decay of the effect. However, you did have the end of the initiative, and you can totally pass it to yourself at the start of the next round, or Sigmund or Cecil.
I'll pass it back to Cecil.
I'm gonna try to do the thing again.
Okay. Another intelligence or blind look.
Intelligence. 19.
19. Yeah. Momo tries, but in between just pressing random things on the surface of this ball, you do manage to align 2 of the symbols and realize that, hey, there's a button with those symbols on it, and you hit that button with ratter reflexes essentially, and it stops. The heat sinks back into the ball, and the danger for now, as far as you are aware, has passed. Behind you, there are 2 very solid thunks as the construction crew just grab what tools they dropped and go to town on the guards. It's a bit rushed, but you have saved the day.
I put the relic in my now empty backpack and try not to touch anything with my presumably burnt paws.
That is fair. At this point, because probably should be wrapping up, it behooves me to ask. We can leave that here. We can leave the story here, and Momo, Sigmund, and Cecil can return as heroes. Or if you want, we can have a shorter epilogue stream next week. I'm happy either way.
I would be
Come on.
fine with an epilogue.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I want to find out who organized this.
Okay.
Probably the guy who has no head, but
Well, I mean, but like, does he
yeah,
have backers?
yeah.
Like, which Hound family is trying to help this guy?
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
trying to help this guy. There are questions.
Okay, so
And speaking of backers, you should back the Kickstarter.
yes, you should.
Hey,
I like that
nice
segue.
segue.
That's a good segue.
Segue.
There's the Kickstarter link for anyone in chat who has not followed said link before. So I guess to have some structure for an epilogue, if you write down all of the questions you have, I'll answer them in character, obviously. But just because the time constraints that we're working with, don't want to get anything left behind. And if you could, I guess, for promotional purposes, if you do want to write come up with any reflection on the system and how it works and how it runs, bearing in mind it's still playtest rules, that'll probably help Onyx Path, and they might be happy with that. But we are running out of time, so please, everyone, if you've enjoyed, please do go back the Kickstarter. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, it may have finished, it may not have finished, but Realms of Pugmire is, the thing to look for. We did reverse order last time, so why not do reverse order this time? So let's start with Tom, if you have your necessaries and anything you want to promote.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you again for letting me join the game. This has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. Again, Tom, you can find me at Bolthra, BOLTHRA, and look for my other projects on Restless Barbarian Gaming. Actually, I have a couple games coming up with Rosie in them, so we'll be doing a couple things in a couple weeks. But thank you again for letting me join. I appreciate it.
And Rosie?
Yes. Hello, I am Rosie Regular Size Mom, and you can find me at mom_sized and Odd Duck Dice on Twitter, Etsy, all of the social things. And I believe it is the 10th. You can find me on Big Dad Industries playing Mummy, because Mummy's awesome. It will be one of those sessions where we've just woken up, so we will be at the peak of our power and have no idea why we're there. Tune in. It's always a mess.
And Lee?
I am Lee. You can find me on socials as at Scriftly, which is underneath me, or as Ipsy, IPSEY. Either or, it's an easy way to find me. My promotion is I wrote the Introfiction 2 by Banner Bound, a C20 supplement, player-made supplement on Storyteller Vault. So that's a good thing to check out. And I'm doing this, so tune in for the epilogue next week. It'll be great. We'll find out if Momo really is a good girl.
We will. And yeah, I'm Ryan, Comrade Baubles, pretty much everywhere on the internet. My promotion is I do a show alternate Tuesdays on this very channel. It won't be next Tuesday. It's not next Tuesday, it's the Tuesday after. Where I just go through writing how to write community content and how to write just tabletop role-playing material and GM tips and general good practice advice. But we hope that, I assume we hope that you can make it for the epilogue next week, and that you have enjoyed this short actual play. And if you are watching this on YouTube, of course, please let us know in the comment section what you thought of the session and of the game. And we'll see you all on the other side. I'm going to have to mute everything for the post-roll, but we'll see you all around. Goodbye.